In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, how you doing, Gumpers? Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal live stream show and podcast. How you doing? Look behind me. Sunshine coming in through the window. It was really windy last night here on the Silver Coast, but a much nicer day in prospect now, I would say. Although I think for our Silver Coast meetup at 1 o'clock this afternoon, if you're in the area, do come and join us between 1 and 3. And we'll probably be at the Samar restaurant because I'm not sure. It may still rain and it'll be a little bit blustery on the seafront, but looking forward to being outdoors later in the summer here in San Martinho de Porto. So if you're visiting Portugal, if you're on a scouting trip, and we had some great scouting ideas actually from our Premium Plus folks last week, which is now in their video content library. A couple of, tried and trusted and tested schedules for having a quick look around Portugal. 4 days and 4 weeks, roughly speaking, were the offerings with some incredible plans. So if you want the sweat and effort taken out of planning a trip of that kind, we can help you out with that. So just drop me a line. Carl at expatsportugal.com for those scouting schedules. How are you doing this morning? It's Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. I'm on with Todd. Well, I'm not because you're with me, which is great. And that would include Andy this morning, Andrew Gilchrist over there in Surrey, I suspect. Baddy, who's here at the moment. How's it going, Baddy? Pete's in as well. Got lovely pictures to share with you, Pete, from Philomena this morning. From Suze and Taxi in Finland this morning. And Sam Nazare's in from Australia. Oi, Savaloi. Good morning to you, mate. And Cindy B. Hola, bon dia, alegria from a sunny, beautiful Nadaduru. And forming the warrior pose this morning on the expats. Well, 50 plus vitality group for expats and anyone else who wants to grow old disgracefully. Find us on Facebook in the group 50 plus vitality. The program continues. And Jack, you I think have been inspired and I'm looking forward to your company tomorrow night. Jack, so much. So many thanks to you. I'm so grateful to you is what I'm trying to say. Bon dia, you say, the washing's on and I've been skipping on the roof terrace. Not a good look if you don't have the correct underwear on. Ooh, skipping on the roof terrace. That sounds real sort of rocky sort of stuff, doesn't it? A rocky training schedule up there on the roof. Where are you now? Do please remind us, Jack. And you very kindly offered to help us out tomorrow evening. Let me just bring this onto the screen. Tomorrow night, we're comparing the cost of living between the United Kingdom and the United States with Portugal, of course. Jack helping us, representing the UK tomorrow night. What costs less and what costs more? Lonnie also chipping in and others who will tell us what they've been surprised about and what they've been pleased about when it comes to comparing the cost of living in Portugal with their home country, mainly focusing on the USA and the UK. But if you don't feel represented with that, give me a shout. Again, Carl at expatsportugal.com, and we'll make sure you're represented or get some of the action as well tomorrow evening from 7:30. But it's Wednesday here, not Thursday yet. That is our Thursday night Portugal calling webinar. Let's compare. Let's stay in the here and now and in the present moment. We're going to have a look at the English-speaking newspapers here in Portugal, the Portugal News and the Portugal Resident, and the shock news that I'll come back to this in due course. I want to say hello to everybody. But SEF's national director resigns. So if it wasn't that there was enough going on with the border and Migration Authority here, bureaucracy here in Portugal, they've now had their director resign. What do you think about that? We'll come back to that a little bit later on. Your comments, please, in the comments and in the chat. Jim White's here. Let's work our way backwards from the most recent. Bon dia todos from Jim. Jim, what have you been surprised about when it comes to the cost of living and the comparison? You may wish to join us tomorrow evening, but to be interested to know. And of course, at the moment, it's quite a rapidly changing picture, is it not? If you arrived a few months ago, you'll have something different to say about fuel and gas prices compared to when you arrived and what they're like now. Look at this. Coach Turner's in the Hofmeister. Bon dia, Gumpers. Very busy day today, including recording a couple of training tips for the Vitality team. Thank you, Coach Turner. Have a great day all. Fantastic. And Jack, skipping. It's a great exercise, isn't it? I wonder what you would suggest when it comes to skipping, Coach Turner. Yes, Pete. Morning, Andrew. And Jandis. But... Jardindis, I'm going to go with. But just when you thought after 18 months your SEF appointment was close, absolutely right. Yes, shock news in this morning. We'll unpack that a little bit in just a moment. And Suze is telling us this morning, Finland plans meeting with NATO. Putin makes new cyber attack threats to us, setting a 3-week goal to head your way. Wow. Now, that's interesting and somewhat sobering as well. I do get the sense that people are hastening their plans and that we are moving into times of mass migration, if we're not already. I mean, I guess it's all a matter of perspective, isn't it? For many people in this world, mass migration or migration has been a part and parcel of their life as they've wanted to avoid a war zone or improve their prospects by moving to somewhere else in the world. It's just like in our backyard now, isn't it? So I guess it's all about perspective. But I do see that in the circles that we move in here, people seem to be hastening their plans. And of course, the Premium Plus, the Expats Portugal plan membership level here at Expats Portugal, we work closely with you. If that's your plan to get here to Portugal, why not have a look at the Premium Plus membership level? Because we help you accelerate and turbocharge your plans to be here. The big thing at the moment, of course, is finding accommodation, and that's big on the agenda at the moment with SEF consulates and the SEF seeming to require 12 months instead of 6, as it used to be on lease agreements. And the demand for property is causing quite a supply shortage over here in Portugal, but we're doing all we can to help out with that. He was doing nothing, so nothing will change. Okay, that's good morning, Gilda. That's Gilda's input, everybody, so far on this gentleman who would be a former GNR, the Republican Guards, of course, Lieutenant General Luís Botelho Miguel Lieutenant of the GNR, and they are, of course, the guardians of the Republic, aren't they? This occurred to me just recently. The GNR are the guardians of the Republic, as much as they might be protecting and serving the people, which is an interesting... I don't know what you think, Gilda, whether I'm making too much of the semantics there, but they're the guardians. The GNR are the police force and the safeguarders of the Republic itself. And you have... at least, as far as I can tell, 3 different types of police officer, probably more here in Portugal, a GNR being, the best dressed and the most official looking, I would say. And then you have the transit cops and your other judiciary police and so on. But a former lieutenant of the GNR there, that would be Senor Luís Botelho Miguel, has resigned from SEF. So we'll go into the reporting in a moment, just after we've said hello to everybody. You can call me, of course, this morning, ask anything about Portugal as well. We might do a little bit of a phone in this morning, if you fancy that. 913-590-303. Let me put that on the screen for you now. If I can find it. There we go. And there's the number. So you can send a voice message if you want to let off steam about SEF. Just send me a voice message. Keep it clean and family oriented, if you will, this morning. 913-590-303. And make sure when your message, if you send me a message, say this is for publication and sharing with one of those voice messages, because I'm not going to be able to take time out to listen to it before I play it this morning. But if you've got something important to say about these issues, any of the things I talk about this morning, or a question, and ask anything about Portugal question, send it through on 913-590-303 in text or audio form, or give me a ring if you prefer. Need to talk about my server using phone and Wi-Fi. Well, go on then, Suze. What's your question with that this morning on Ask Anything About Portugal? Raj is here as well. Bom dia todos. How are you this morning, Raj? And Nubianette. Great to see you on Mrs. M's show last night, Nubianette. Hola, everyone from you. And Jean saying to us this morning, boa madrugada, pessoas. And right back at you there, Jean. How's life in New Jersey this morning? And what will be the impacts of the resignation? Well, you've already had Gilda's response to that. He was doing nothing, so nothing will change. Harsh. We'll take a ferry to Germany, drive to Portugal, store my stuff, then camp in the van with occasional stays in cabins. Sounds like a plan, Suze. Sounds like a plan. Come and see us on the Silver Coast, won't you? As I said earlier on, our meetup today on a Wednesday is between 1 and 3 if you want to meet others. But looking forward to shaking your hand in real life, Suze, when you get here to Portugal. Surely the Silver Coast is on your schedule. Don't call me Shirley, says Suze. Okay, so very briefly then, before we take your questions and Ask Anything About Portugal and delve into the news, lovely pictures here from Philomena this morning. Thank you so much, Pete, for taking care of this. You're the best. Look at those lovely flowers right next to Philomena's Good Morning Portugal mug there. Not unlike mine. Here we go. Yeah, look at that. And the card reads as follows. Dear Philomena, you're the best teacher, wife, and contributor to your massive community. Thank you from everyone on Good Morning Portugal. And Pete took care of that. So thanks again, Pete. Really appreciate you doing that on behalf of us all. And to you, Philomena, lots of love to you and to the mister there and all the family over there in Miranda de Corvo. So I hope you're healing well, all healing well, and everything's coming back to normal for you. As much as close as anything's getting to normal at the moment. We're definitely in the new normal, aren't we, folks? And you may wish to talk. I mean, it's a bit of an elephant in the room, isn't it? There's lots going on in the world. It's quite turbulent and volatile times. If you need to let off steam, if you need to feel loved and appreciated, you just tell us in the comments and in the chat this morning. I don't want to pay roaming charges nor lose my number. Oh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Need it for banking, etc. Recommendations. Yes, Caldash is high on my list to see. That's good. So we will see you, Suze. And what do we think about this, everybody? So you don't want to pay roaming charges, which is fair enough. I thought they were illegal anyway across Europe. Is that not the case? Need to cough. Hold on a moment. Right. I didn't think roaming charges were excessive, but it's all relative, isn't it? But yes, of course, if you want to use your current number, and presumably you can't get it ported across a national boundary, could you not use Wi-Fi for that particular connection? No, I suppose if it's not an iPhone, it won't be coming across iMessage. People better able to answer this probably will this morning, Suze. But yeah, you want to keep your roaming charges down. You don't want to lose your number. And of course, you need it for those codes and things, don't you? And to stay in touch with Finnish business. Yes, unfinished business in Finland there. So yes, any bright ideas about that, please? Let's take a look at this Portugal news article then. Sorry, it is Portugal news, Portuguese news, but it is from the Portugal Resident. Let me make that clear right now. And let us share this with you. So we have SEF's National Director resigns. This was hot off the press yesterday, with little more than a month to go before service gets extinguished. And that's reported by Natasha Don, my mate Natasha Don over there at the Portugal Resident. SEF's National Director, Luís Botelho Miguel, has put in his resignation, according to a dispatch in the State Gazette, Diário da República. The news is all the more surprising in that there is little more than a month to go before the service is extinguished. Is he making a statement? Or could he just not take it anymore? Not to mention the fact that SEF is working overtime right now to care and cope with the influx of refugees from the Ukraine. Luís Botelho Miguel has been in the post since December 2020. He came into the role as a result of the hugely embarrassing scandal involving the death of a Ukrainian job seeker. That would be Ihor Homeniuk. As SIC Television News has explained, when Botelho Miguel was nominated by former Minister Eduardo Cabrita, who faced his own challenges, of course, his principal task to oversee the extinction of SEF. Something I think that has been sounds a little bit more dramatic in translation, possibly, which was set for January, of course, this year. So we're 2 months overdue, and everything got kicked down the street, didn't it? Due to the pandemic, the date shifted to May. And meantime, the minister has now also resigned. No one knows the reasons for this resignation. So it does sound like a hump to me, doesn't it? If someone goes and doesn't give that usual spiel about wanting, it's too stressful and need to spend more time with the family and that kind of malarkey, which people rarely believe anyway, no reasons at all. It does leave a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of doubt hanging there and a lot of room for speculation. What do you think, everybody? A law passed in Parliament in November when the government was acting in a caretaker capacity pre-January's legislative elections, established that SEF's extinction would see the entity's administrative functions, like the issuing of visas, residencies, requests for temporary protection, passed to a new institution, APMA, standing for the Portuguese Agency for Migrations and Asylum, and the IRN. Yes, more work for them. That's the registry office, isn't it? The Notaries and Registries Institute. While policing capacities would be merged with the nation's other three police forces. The police forces that I was talking about before. GNR, PSP, and Policia Judiciaria. Judiciaria. The service itself was daunted by the timeline. Even the legality of the decision is beset with woes and challenges and problems, isn't it? It will be a huge logistic task to dismantle the service, I should say so, particularly as it is in the throes of trying to expedite a humanitarian crisis. Indeed, what else can be thrown at SEF in their current efforts to transform themselves? I'm fiddling with my phone here because I just remembered I was in Alcobaca yesterday, so it's completely random tangent at the moment. But I must show you the picture of the lovely man who's at the Opera Cafe there. Has anyone been to the Opera Cafe in Alcobaca? Because I've got a video to play for you of him singing. We're having coffee in there. And suddenly he started singing, and my goodness, it was incredible. The man has a stunning voice. I think he is a Portuguese celebrity for sure. And I've also got a lovely selfie, me and him from yesterday, and some interior pictures, which I'm trying to get to you now. Here's my selfie with him, which was a great moment. And an interior picture. So I'm just lining these out for a bit. I haven't got a team, you see. It's just me here. The interior of the place is stunning. The exterior of the place is stunning, and his voice. They do a good coffee as well, I have to say. But the whole experience is stunning and typically Portuguese. So forgive me. I'll come back to downloading those in a little while. And that's on 9. I've just sent a message to myself on 913-590-303. Everybody. So back to this SEF director resignation. So the service itself was daunted by the timeline. More details of what has led to Luís Botelho Miguel's decision will no doubt emerge over the course of the day and week. According to Correio da Manhã, the former GNR Lieutenant General would like to leave his post next Wednesday. Oh my goodness. He's filling up his cardboard box and saying goodbye. I wonder what the leaving do is going to be like. Pretty somber. Not unlike Cressida Dick. Yes, I did say Cressida Dick. That's the name of the Metropolitan Police Chief in London. She must have had to take some stick for that name over the years, don't you think? Are you not on YouTube this morning? Now, something weird has gone on here. Let me just take that off the screen. I think I am on YouTube, and because I think a few people are here. These comments are coming in. So if we look at Victoria's comment, "Hola, bon dia, kids from sunny Praia de Rocha." We'll see that is a YouTube comment, and I suspect you are watching on YouTube, Victoria, and others here. So I don't know what happened there, and I did notice there was a little bit of a glitch in advanced posting to YouTube. Can everyone let me know if I'm assuming we are on YouTube? Yeah, most of our viewers this morning, hit the like button, everybody, hit the like button. Don't seem to be having a problem and are coming through loud and clear. But you're right, Pam, to point out there was a little bit of a problem that I noticed, but it seems to be okay now. So you can watch us either on Facebook or on YouTube, Pam. And yes, talking about you yesterday over there in Alcobaca, all good things, of course. And I had a lovely meeting in Alcobaca yesterday. And I will show you the lovely pictures of the Opera Cafe. Have you been there, Pam? And would you recommend it to other people? And I need to know the gentleman's name and the name of I call it the Opera Cafe in Alcobaca, but I think it's got an official name as well, hasn't it? Something to do with Arco or something or other. Anyway, we'll come back to that, and I'll show you the video of him singing, which will give me a nice chance to have a sip of my tea as well this morning, because my voice is a little bit sore, as you might be able to hear this morning. Moaz is, and I was wondering where you were this morning, Moaz, and where's the prof this morning? Because someone sent the prof a message. He did send me a WhatsApp message and an image, which I suspect will be a part of his presentation this morning, today in Portuguese history. I've got a map from him that plots the navigation from Portugal to Brazil. I suspect there's a clue there in what might follow today. A brilliant video that he sent me. If anyone wants the link to this, it is in Portuguese, so you'll get to practice your Portuguese, but connected to the academic crisis of 1962, in which he says some of the footage of the 1960s Portugal is fascinating. I think you might want to see that, so I will put that into the comments straight away. And we've also got a brilliant article from him on grannies tagging walls and doing graffiti. The graffiti grannies of Portugal. So we'll have a look at that this morning as well, because that's a bit of fun. Back to your comments then, and just popping the link to that documentary about the academic crisis in 1962. That's going, don't watch it now, watch it, save it for later. Put it in your watch later playlist if you don't mind. Okay, so can we help Suze with this on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday? Doesn't want to pay roaming charges, coming from Finland and needs the original number, doesn't want to lose the Finnish number. Matty's here, he knows about these sorts of things. Bon dia, alegria a todos. How you doing, Matty? Moaz, bon dia, Carl, a todos. And Nubianet to you, Suze, an idea coming in. When I travel with my Norwegian friends, they use their phone with a VPN and there's no roaming charges. Well, hey, solution there. How about that? Sending a shout out to Jean Marie in Minnesota, who has been watching replays of Good Morning Portugal lately and sending me supportive messages. Hi, Jean. Jean Marie in Minnesota. And I'd shout out to Ivy as well. I was in the cafe in Alcobaca yesterday. A lovely lady was on another table close by and was going like this to me, and then she started whistling the old theme tune. So good morning to you, Ivy. Lovely to meet you yesterday. I'm sorry we didn't get a selfie. We should have done that, shouldn't we? Next time. Where exactly will the meetup be today at 1 p.m? That will be at the Samar Cafe. Same number, actually, Paddy. If you want to be on the... Drop me a message on 913-590-303. That's for anybody who wants to be on the distribution on the WhatsApp list for the Silver Coast meetup. Okay, just send me a note there and you'll keep up to date with where everything's happening today. Paddy, well, that'll be lovely to meet you. Fantastic. I knew Matty would have something on this. The VPN has to do with the mobile internet data. Standard phone calls are not included as they go via the SIM card. And when in a foreign country, roaming charges for calls could apply. Oh, I thought we'd sussed it there, but apparently not. I want to apply for a D7 visa. How can I start? Is it really time consuming? Not Dr. Faisal Rabbi. Faisal Rabbi, I'm going to go with on that. Not if you talk to Gilda, who was here earlier on. Go to A. And for you, I will put in, dear doctor, I will put into the comments where you need to go for that. A lot of multitasking for me this morning, but you need to talk to A. Assessoria Migratoria, and I'll put that was quick. I'll put this is for you, Dr. Fuzzle there. That's into the chat for you now. If you don't want it to be time consuming, then work with Gilda, who's here as well. Next comment on the screen. The reason it's too much work and lack of experience. That's why the former GNR man has quit his SEF job as a director. Hola, bon dia from Rebel Mama. Rebel Mama's here too. Remember the like button? You remember the like button, don't you? Well, hit it. What like button, says Matty. Yes, you didn't mention it. Using iPhone in another EU country is new to me. I'll have to call my DNA server to cancel. DNA server? DNS possibly. Don't call your DNA. Don't change your DNA. That's a bit drastic. To cancel, cable, so we'll ask them. So maybe it is DNA. Was hoping to get a heads up here first. Plus taxi needs his EU vet passport. So many things to do. Yeah, lots to do. And yes, I think that we've sorted that now. Pam, are you now watching on YouTube? Doesn't really matter if it's time consuming, since it's what you have to do to live here. Lol. From the US takes about 3 months until your appointment, then another 3 months to get here. Yeah, and you can get consultants such as EIA to take care of it for you, and I've done the link for you for that. Dr. Fazal Rabi. Congratulations to Portugal. Oh yes, of course, through to the World Cup. And congratulations. Yes, who was it who said good job it wasn't all of Macedonia? Beat North of Macedonia last night. What was the final score? I watched enough to satisfy my curiosity and to see that there was a very good chance of them going through. But here it is, the official congratulations from Moaz to Portugal for their World Cup qualifier victory. Congratulations to Saudi Arabia, to Qatar, Tunisia, and Morocco. And it was a big disappointment that Egypt, a great team, didn't qualify. That's gutting, isn't it? Oh dear, I didn't realize that. So Egypt haven't qualified for the World Cup. It's a very different World Cup this year, isn't it? Yep, you're on YouTube, so smile, everybody. Prior to the Pro getting in that force Portugal for the footy, Cressida was forced out prior to Boris's party cover-up. So talking about Cressida Dick, a different scandal over back in the UK. Hey Pete, do you want to be on our call tomorrow night talking about the relative cost of living? Who'd like to join us for that? Do you, if that's your thing? It's not my. I mean, I'm interested so that I can share it with everybody else. But I'm not a very fastidious and detail-oriented person, so I've no idea what I pay for petrol. Quite frankly, it's always like 20 euros. So it doesn't matter to me if it's going up or down. Well, it does, but you know what I mean. And I don't study my shop receipts either. I'm not that sort of person, and there's nothing wrong with being that sort of person. And if you are, please join us. If you've been waiting for your moment to give a detailed assessment of how much money you save by being in Portugal, tomorrow is your time to shine. It's not too late to join us on that webinar tomorrow. Thank you very much for all the confirmations that all is well on YouTube. I don't know what's going on there. How you doing, Raphael? Good morning. Great to have you here today. And yes, we're all good on YouTube. Thanks for doing that, Sam. That's really helpful. Had to load it on another page. Oh, wow, this is so weird. That's a completely different separate chat going on. Yes, you get a different chat here because we have Facebook people chipping in as well. Yes, that's thrown everybody this morning, isn't it? Sly or Slime is here this morning. Where are you? Where you been? Have you had a problem with the YouTube this morning, James? Sorry, there was another link with people waiting. Very strange. I don't know what's going on. I think it's a StreamYard/YouTube thing this morning because there was no problem on Facebook. Seems like there are two chat rooms and some of us got stuck in one and some in the other. Well, thank you. Whoever sorted that out. Did somebody take control of the situation over there? That's the person who's good in a crisis, who we can look to. Who sorted that out over there on YouTube this morning? Healthy Move Portugal. To you, Matty from Nubianet. There's going back and forth, yes, but I can remember them saying they didn't have to arrange a phone plan for traveling anymore because the roaming charges ended. So there you go. Not quite sure, but thank you for chipping in with that, Nubianet. Really appreciate it. Seems like something is weird because there aren't many people on chat, although there are 51 watching. Yeah, I'm really not sure what's happening here this morning. It'll unfold. It'll be right, so it will. Bon dia from Pam, who is here now on YouTube. Well done, Pam. Bon night to Sydney from Alda as well. Alda, how are you? I wish our ministers also resigned. Yeah. There's quite a lot of people wishing that, but who's the alternative? You know, for example, in the UK, when you scrape the barrel with Boris Johnson, where do you go after that? You know, you have to look underneath the barrel, don't you? Yep, YouTube A-OK. Thank you very much. Executive production there from Dougie Hughes. Morning, mate. How are you this morning? Where are you this morning? Pam, I had that too. Need to refresh the page sometimes. Yes. And then that's good life advice, isn't it? Sometimes, folks, you just need to refresh your page. Right, let me just download this lovely video of some opera singing. Tudo bem? Sim, e contigo, James. I think that yes, the reason for you making contact on WhatsApp was because of the YouTube problem this morning. OLP, yes, it is 8:47, and no, we are worried. Yeah, there is a problem. So some people are saying loud and clear on YouTube. Can someone help the OLP out, please? Do you know what? I'm going to send them a personal message now. Please refresh. And I'm hoping they will assume that is their browser rather than me asking them to take a shower or something of that kind. So Munson sent me, Carl Munson has been sending himself videos. And here I'm gonna as soon as this is downloaded, I tell you what, let me play the video because you will hear this first of all. Everything's a bit slow this morning. Has the internet en masse slowed down, I wonder? Oh, he's such a handsome fella. I'm not talking about myself there. I'm talking about my new opera best mate, and a little bit of a taster of the video for you now. As soon as it blimmin' well loads. So, folks, which opera is that? And as soon as somebody answers that question, I will play you the video, okay? I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. It was stunning. Stunning to be only a few feet away from an opera singer of great skill and quality, singing that to us live whilst we were drinking coffee over there in Alcobaca yesterday. OLP is here. Well, glad to know you're okay. Yeah, really don't know what went on this morning. Bon dia todos from Sarah as well. You come up in a lot of conversations, and there seem to be a lot of cyclists, professional cyclists, and serious amateurs moving to Portugal from the United States. The road is rising beneath your bicycles. Sarah, have you noticed this? What's going on with cyclists? I mean, we know now, don't we? There's something going on with many more Americans considering Portugal as a future home. Something's happening, isn't it? There is a groundswell, a great interest in moving to Portugal that is accelerating. That is, it's off the charts, off the scale, exponential rise in interest, and people actually doing it as well. So. Fascinating times. But do you notice anything, Sarah, within the cycling community? Are you seeing that as well? I think it depends on provider country and your agreement. But yes, I believe within the EU, roaming charges have been ended. That's what I thought, Matty. Okay. Shout out to the God Squad from the coach. Victoria and I are all here. So good to Rebel Mama there. To Victoria to Suze, you can port your number and ditch your old provider. Can you port numbers internationally as well? I did not know that. Very interesting. Pam, in Finland, or is Finland in the EU? If so, there's no roaming charges. So there you go. But obviously check with your with the professional. I'm not questioning you, Pam. In theory, that's absolutely right, isn't it? There should be no roaming charges across the EU. And of course, that was another Brexit shot in the foot. Finland is part of the EU, no, says Raphael as well. You'll be protected under the EU's roaming laws and shouldn't have to deal with roaming charges. There we go. Having a crisis. Okay, Coach Turner. Is that you? Is that us? Is that the world at the moment? Yep, YouTube is working, folks. Thanks. That's one less stress. Well, there we go. In a time of crisis, according to Mr. Turner, Coach Turner, we have one less stress that we've organised for Suze. That's how it goes, right? One in, one out. We can only take one stress at a time, folks. Do you have to wear a GMP suit for the 1 p.m. meetup, or is it in the altogether like the Al Viagra tree hugging walks? And you know, both the parts of that comment have got us in trouble, Pete. Before I don't think Gary's at all happy about being the Al Viagra guy who walks naked in the woods. Let me just say one more time, it's not true about Gary walking naked in the woods. And no, not come as you are, because that's asking for all sorts of trouble, isn't it? Just wear what you, well, I was going to say wear what you like. What people tend to wear is just, casual clothes to the Good Morning Portugal, Expats Portugal meetup on the Silver Coast. All right. I hope that's clear now. 913-590-303 is the number if you want to be on the list for that as well, if you want to know where we're going to be at any time on that Wednesday meetup. as in which particular restaurant, because it will vary. The weather's looking pretty good now. You can see the sunshine on my green screen, which I'm happy to leave there for you. Carl, as far as I know, there are no roaming charges with WhatsApp ever. No, that's right, because it's Wi-Fi based. But if someone calls you across the network on your SIM card, that's when the problems could begin. So at least not from Portugal to anywhere. Maybe it's a Brexit thing. It is actually a Wi-Fi thing. WhatsApp works across the internet, doesn't it? And the telephone network is something different. The company name is DNA. Okay, that's the right thing. I'm relieved to hear that you aren't actually changing your DNA. I have my local SIM in my Singapore phone that has a Singapore number. And yes, of course, if you've got a dual SIM phone, that might help as well. But why am I saying badly? Suze, WhatsApp, our bank token is digital. WhatsApp on our bank token digital, and I'm able to receive SMS with the local SIMs data. Oh, that's good. So with the banking, you can do it on WhatsApp there. Didn't know that the banks would be happy to use WhatsApp as well. Or certainly, it looks like you're getting your tokens, your bank tokens and security tokens across the Wi-Fi network. The important point there. Wow, you're all hiding over here. I thought there was a prof-shaped hole missing this morning. You've missed out on some great content on the fake stream. Is that what's happened there? Somebody pretending to be me over there. We watched Senegal and Egypt the other day. When we left the cafe, Egypt's one goal was Senegal getting it into the wrong goal. Oh, I see. Was it an own goal that put Egypt out? Oh, who's the person who did that? They have to live with that for the rest of their footballing career and thereafter, won't they? Maxine, WhatsApp is using mobile data or Wi-Fi that you're connected to? Okay. Pretty good question, Suze. It's bringing a lot of help forward. What has happened? We've really had a spanner in the works this morning, haven't we, over there on YouTube? I don't know is the honest answer to that. I could see when I set up the show, Chris, that I was fine for Facebook. And I had a look and wanted to make it work on YouTube because there was the YouTube little icon was missing. And hence the problems we've had this morning. But I think we're okay now. Forsh, if I get a Portuguese passport through Descent, can I then get the tax breaks that are applicable to Portuguese citizens if I live in the Schengen zone, but not particularly Portugal? Yes. If you're talking about the non-habitual residency, if you haven't lived here for the last 5 years, and you will check, I hope, with a professional in these matters, but my input on that would be, and do double check this, is that if you haven't lived in Portugal, including Portuguese people, for the last 5 years, you are applicable, or the NHR non-habitual residency tax regime is available to you. Oh, Forge. Is that a mixture? That is a mixture, isn't it? Of French and Portuguese, possibly. Oh, Forge. Morning all. Owen's here, just to let you know that Donna Jacqueline is now out of hospital and back at home. Yay, Donna Jacqueline. Well done. Glad to hear that you have made it out of the hospital and is being looked after at home now. So good news there. Donna J out of hospital. In case you didn't know, she had been inside the hospital. I was going to say she's been inside. You can't start spreading rumors like that. Donna J was in hospital, and it sounds like after some good care, and she spoke highly of it, I have to say. I think it was a game of two halves, a bit like football in the hospital experience for Donna J. In many ways, a bit of a crisis and quite difficult and challenging on the one hand, but made better, as is often the case, right, by incredible and dedicated staff. I think that's a pretty accurate portrayal from my conversation with Donna J on Facebook Messenger. Any more to say? Can we have a quote from Donna J this morning? Owen? Carl, did you know that there's a whole 20 minutes of chat waiting for you before and at the start of the show? No, please cut and paste over to here, James, if you will. That's really thrown people this morning, isn't it? So hopefully we'll be able to recover from that. It's got a nice number of people here this morning, so that's good. YouTube messed up on getting some of us on the live. We could comment, but no Carl. Well, I hope you had a nice time just having a chat with each other over there and played nicely. I hope you played nicely. Carl, I would join you, but I will be in Lisbon tomorrow night, probably at a Fado cafe with my daughter before she leaves Friday morning. Oh, there's going to be tears all round. Sat in the Fado cafe, you'll look at each other, won't you? Leaving tomorrow. Oh, no. Lots of tears. And the Fado will not help with that. So have a great final night before she sails away in a Fado style. Love to all the family. Suze, I was wondering where some of the Daily Mail players were. Me too. I thought they all had a mass hump. If the iPhone is 11 or newer, you can have 2 SIM cards, says Sarah. I have 1 virtual SIM and 1 physical set up for travel. That sounds like fun. And the score was 2-0 for Portugal qualifying for the World Cup. So 2-0 over North Macedonia. Did South Macedonia qualify? I've been sat in the waiting room since 7 a.m. Well, I hope you enjoyed the copies of the Reader's Digest and National Geographic that we carefully and thoughtfully left out for you over there. All is well. I'm glad to hear you didn't fall asleep. No, not this morning. Up early, another early start this morning, Chris. And I've got a question for you. Can you send me you sent me some lovely links to your bluegrass music. Okay. And a lot of them are live performances, which I'm sure that's what you specialize in as a player. Do you have anything that I can play that isn't a live performance, that is one of your performances captured? Because no disrespect to you, and you can see the atmosphere brilliantly on the Facebook clips, but I'd love something in a little better sound quality, if I may. As you'll find out in a moment when I play the opera. It's really nice to have a proper recording. If you've got anything like that, Chris, so we can celebrate your arrival here with some of your own bluegrass playing, some of your own picking here on the show over the next couple of days. No, there were 2 YouTube chat rooms for this YouTube link. That's bizarre, isn't it? Maybe that was me messing about earlier on. James is here then, and it sounds like he's finally settled into this morning show after all the confusion. Bom dia, Gumpers. Feliz carta todos. Como vai tudo? I hope you enjoyed having Slime pop in yesterday. Yes, Slime and the family slug. He sends his regrets that he won't be able to finish the week here. Busy touring schedule? Oh, yeah. He and the family got a last-minute invitation to perform at the Akarta Redwood Festival, which is in 6 months, so he had to hurry for a slug to get the family together for it. Yeah, there is a snail joke like that, isn't there? A knock-knock joke. Yes, where a snail knocks on the door. And the guy opens the door and boots him off the doorstep. What are you doing on my doorstep, snail? Should have done a dad joke warning for this. I'm afraid it's too late. I'm into the joke already. Boots the slug into the distance. 6 weeks later, there's a knock on the door. Man opens the door. Nobody there. Looks down. It's a snail again. What did you do that for? Right. Moaz. Rebel Mama, this year we're hoping for 6 Arab countries to qualify. But so far it looks like the 4 I mentioned and possibly the UAE, who will be used to playing in the searing heat that everyone will have to get used to in Qatar. So I jumped in to fill the void. He wanted me to let you all know that he thought the show was boss. And they had a bitch in time, he and Hippie, quite a pair. Thank you so much, James. What next, I wonder? He said, yo, we're a groovy riot, and they had a far-out time. Yes, a family affair over here, Slime. Faisha Dodia, Funkadelics, one nation under a groove. The royalty of funk continues. Yes, very good. Thank you very much, Chris, for that one. I haven't updated the playlist for ages. Have you, over there on Spotify? The old funkers of GMP. Carl, enjoying the motion of the sun flares on your green screen. Yeah, if you get out your Sharpie, you can make your own sundial with this. That's what I said a few days ago. Actually, don't use a Sharpie because you might want to rub it off or move it as the year progresses as well. And a hi back from Oforge. Dimitri Martin, quote of the day, a Wednesday with no rain is a dry hump day. Oh, can't say things like that over here on my show. How very dare you, James. 7 people still over there. Who is this in the picture? That looks serious. Who is that in the picture, Prof? Are we going to be talking about those 2 gentlemen this morning? Baldylocks also here this morning. Hola, Gumpers. I thought there was another time change. Wow. What happened over there on YouTube? While we consider that, here's some opera for you. see, not the best recording and not the best lighting because he had the window behind him, but that was him singing. I mean, the recording of the music was from his phone, I think. He just pressed his phone and out came this incredible orchestra behind there and the soundtrack, and then he sang over the top, as you could hear there. What an incredible voice. Here he is, my new opera best buddy, and a selfie he very graciously allowed me to take outside the Opera Cafe there in Alcobaca, and I've got some photographs of the interior. If you want a special occasion and you're looking for a venue for it, then folks, look at the Opera Cafe Arco da Sister. Now, I need to find out what this is. What I meant to ask you, Pam, before. Why are the sister references in Alcobaca? Cister. Opera Cafe Arco da Sister. Arco da Sister is the name of the establishment there. And, it won't let me open that up to give you a link. But Arco da Sister, if you look it up, ARCODECISTER, more photographs. That's the exterior. You might have walked through there. This is typically Portuguese and unassuming, okay? An incredible establishment, as you'll see in just a moment. And you could walk past. It's just like a dark doorway there, isn't there? And a table with 4 chairs. Nothing to see here, you might think, unless you study closely the shop front there and see the logo of the Opera Cafe. But inside, there are rooms like this. Look at that. And they put on they don't do a food service every day. They do cakes and coffee there every day, and very fine they are too. And they do, I think, maybe half a dozen catered events throughout the month there as well. And it's so beautifully done inside, and some of the incredible costumes that gentleman has worn. Now, I'm embarrassed because I don't know his name, and I spoke to him in my best Portuguese, whichever way you look at it, best or worst. I tried my best, and he was very complimentary, actually, about my... there's mention of David Bowie, and the Alcobaca Monastery Anti-Gluttony Door. I'm going to have a look. We'll stay in Alcobaca and we'll mention that in just a moment. But can someone help me out and let me know what the name of that gentleman is? Clearly a professional opera singer who is now the host of that wonderful establishment there in the Arco da Sister in the Opera Cafe, basically, over there in Alcobaca. Right, it's Carmen, of course. Carmen, I love opera. My dad was an amateur singer. Did you enjoy that? Bize's Carmen, Bize or Bize, whichever you prefer this morning. Thanks, Jack Polly. Oh no, Bize. Bize is something different, isn't it? I think. I wish I could completely understand lyrics in Fado already. I did refresh and it didn't work. Baldilocks, I thought so too. Oh, please keep Americans in the South. Stop it. Can't say things like that. Fado reminds me of the old Egyptian singers. The style seems similar. Would that be at the end of that, Moaz? And Antonio F. Kind words to you, Matty, with the Fado reference there. It takes time. Go along, enjoy it in the way that you can enjoy it as a native. Sorry, not as a native, as a tourist abroad. With that, with that wide-eyed. They could be singing about you and insulting you, and you wouldn't even know. Enjoy that moment, because there will come a time when you enjoy too much Portuguese and you'll hear people moaning in the street about politics, and you'll realize that, or you'll think to yourself, I wish I didn't speak Portuguese right now. So, enjoy every moment along the journey of learning Portuguese. If I get a Portuguese passport through descent, can I live? Oh, yes, we've answered that one, haven't we? Did you hear the answer earlier on? And back to you, Antonio, from Matty. It will speed up quite a bit when I'm done with my move, and I live in Portugal 100% of the time. Yes, and you listen to Fado constantly on your listening device. That'll help as well. Cycling conditions are so much better here. It's unbelievable. I've ridden across America. It can be done, but nobody in Portugal throws full cans of beer at me, for example. It's blissful. Well, we don't want that sort of American coming over here, do we? Not even in the South, Rebel Mama. It's blissful over here. I'm so glad you're enjoying that experience of cycling here in Portugal. For me, if I join the reminder for the show before the show starts, I have to leave it and join when it's live. Oh, I see. Okay, I don't understand honestly what's going on over on YouTube this morning, but I'm glad to see so many of you here. That'll do it for sure. 100% of your time in Portugal. Thanks, Antonio F, for being here this morning. I told my daughter, Amalia, it was the Kaltum of Portugal. Of course, there is an Arab influence in the style, even in the music. Very good. A banana. Should this be a dad joke? Warning. Banana walks naked in the woods all the time. What's the problem? Oh, banana slug, that is. Everybody relax. Jeannie. Hello, Jeannie. So good to see you. Don't hear from you so much. Oh, I was going to say, don't hear from you so much now you're in Portugal. However, bom dia, alegria a todos. My husband is on his way to our Quinta. I feel already lonely. So, yes, you do have a home here, don't you? But here in Belgium, you say, so you must be over there again, has also problems with the internet, maybe the beginning of cyber problems. Oh, elephant in the room stuff. Now, I did make a little bit of a reference to this, didn't I? Turbulent, volatile times in the world. How's everybody coping with that? I mean, we've been through this in a way before, haven't we? This whole Good Morning Portugal juggernaut began in the pandemic times when we were quite scared, quite frankly, at the beginning. And we were here as an information service to people and as a support. And as time went on, it became quite useful to check in with everybody. How are you doing? And, you know, let's face it, these are difficult times. People have all sorts of prophecies, don't they? And expectations, many of which they hope won't come true, but think they might, of challenges ahead in the world, you know, in the United States, in Europe. And that affects us. It's in our backyard. You know, a lot of these things that we may be about to face and are facing are not new to many millions, if not billions of people around the world. It's just in our faces right now, isn't it? And we don't like it up us, as they say on Dad's Army. And in these times when it is up us and it is frightening and challenging and difficult and turbulent and volatile, we need to look after each other, don't we? We need to stick together, check in, make sure everyone's okay. So there is my invitation to you to do that. What's on your mind? And a problem shared may well be a problem halved, okay? Anyone know how I ask a question to the presenter? Well, I'm hoping you've got my answer already, Forge. I think being patient is the thing, and that might be another thing to learn when coming to Portugal. A lot of people say that. And Forge, what is that? What's it that in your logo there? Is that oil? Are you in the oil business? Am I seeing some Brent crude there in a logo shape, I wonder? I don't know that. I'm not an accountant, but if usually you spend more than 183 days in any EU country, you become a tax resident of that country. Moaz, thank you for that. There are no roaming charges as long as you're not being charged for data by your operator in your country. If you're roaming with your carrier, they should charge you data roaming charges. They could. And my Portugal number is my virtual SIM, says Victoria. Can a few of you bring this up tomorrow night? This will be really good to talk about this in detail tomorrow evening on the cost of living. If you can bring your plans and the cost of them, that would be great too tomorrow night. Does anybody want to step forward and volunteer proactively, positively about the comparison of the cost of living for tomorrow night? That'd be great. Drop me a line, carl@expatsportugal.com, and join the team talking about that tomorrow night. My husband has lost 2 close friends to getting hit by cars. What? While biking cross country in the US. It's horrible. That is horrible. That many friends and that awful a situation in America. Sounds terrible. Is Google Voice a thing in Portugal? Not from my point of view. I don't even know what that is, unless, of course, is that just like talking? Hey, Google. Let me try that now, because we haven't done this for a while. Hey, Google. And should we do the others as well while we're about it? Alexa. Let's see if that works. What are the other ones? Tell me what the other ones are, and I'll see if your device is working. A friend who watches mainstream media here, which I avoid, told me he saw a program about how great Portugal was for Americans. My first thought was, crap, there goes Portugal. Well, it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? And in answer to your question, Sam, is Google Voice a thing in Portugal? What's Google Voice? Apparently not. Okay, but I suspect it might be for some people. Okay, so can we have an update on that? SEF tried to hack the show. Stop it, Shilda. You of all people, honestly. I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm happy to be riding here. Yes, Rebel Mama. Losing people to terrible driving and accidents of that kind must be awful. And 2 of them as well. That is horrible. Sorry to hear that. And happy to be riding here. With that in mind as well, I left a like on the other stream. They don't grow on trees, you know. Of course, as Carlos said, you live here and haven't lived here for 5 years, you'll get the 10-year NHR 10% tax designation. Good luck. Tongue twister. Tax designation tongue twister there. Good luck. What was that tongue twister that Mia said to us? What was it? Three tigers. Three triest tigres. I'm sure that isn't right. Are you planning to live in an EU country? You are, aren't you? Asked Moaz, and Carl is right to ask a professional. Some EU countries might have similar programs. You always got to go through the professionals with these things. Rumours of Carl's extradition back to the UK were overstated. To be fair, I started them. Well, stop it immediately, Prof. What you got for us this morning? What government department is SEF? Is it the Treasury? No. It is. What does it stand for? Gilda will tell us. It's the Borders and Immigration folks. And we haven't done any other Portuguese news items yet, have we? We're just too busy chatting here and asking questions and mainly answering Susie's question about roaming charges. Very scary from back to Rebel Mama. And I don't understand the anger people have towards bike riders. What is it? It's just because they don't pay tax. That's what some people shout. And when I was a cyclist in the UK, and used to enjoy it. Motorists they don't realise, do they, how overbearing and threatening they can be in their great big metal tanks. SEF, can we have a literal translation of SEF, please, or what the abbreviations stand for in Portuguese? Where should I go get the definitive answers? Well, Forge, start with our business directory. Go to, let me do it for you. Let me just put that in the comments there. expatsportugal.com/business-directory for you, Forge. Still got to find out what your logo is all about this morning. And you can find out there about the NHR. Yeah, just start with Gilda. The weather at the end of November will not be hot. They have very nice winters. Okay, well, that's good to know over there in Qatar. But you know, when I say it's a different World Cup, a World Cup in November, what's that all about? Acastrato. What's that mean? Is that the type of opera singing? OLP, SEF, like PSP and GNR, belongs to the Home Office, Internal Affairs Ministry. The other police force, PJ, Policia Judiciaria, belongs to the Ministry of Justice. There you go. I had trousers that tight once. Not anymore. Sold them on eBay. So who is this? Yes, exactly. Who is it? And I'm hoping somebody will be able to tell us the actual name. Wow. Well, it wasn't quite a falsetto, was it? I'm wondering. It's João Pesas, great singer. So love João Pesas. To answer your question, who was that who asked that before? Who is this? Maxine. João Pesas, the man in the picture with me here. João Pesas on the left. And a selfie that we were able to capture yesterday. And you know, I'm thinking, highbrow opera, he's not going to want to take a selfie with me, is he, with yours truly? He was so gracious about it. Handsome. Look at his lovely eyes as well. Lovely eyes, great voice, amazing cafe, the Opera Cafe, everybody, over there in Cistr. What does that mean? CISTR, Pam. You know these things over there in Alcobaca. Lots of references to the Cistr over there. And it's not sister as in, yeah, sister, go sister, hey sister, got to get that dough, sister, is it? Something else, CISTER over there in Alcobaca. An amazing place. Another quick look at the interior. Look at that. You could get married in there, couldn't you? You could do a ceremony. It's so beautiful. Been up there, Pam, in that cafe? Okay, back to your questions and your comments, and let's have a look at other news items. And there are some interesting themes running in the English-speaking media over here in Portugal. I will share them with you in just a moment. I don't think it's anger, says Jean, just self-centered obliviousness towards anyone or anything but themselves. That's talking about drivers, isn't it, in relation to cyclists? Stephen Wells is here, not your average globetrotter singing. No, it wasn't. It was João Pesas. Everybody, thank goodness for that, Pam, that you've solved that mystery for us. Let's do this. Now, So this day in Portuguese history, let's bring it onto the screen a little bit later than usual. We've had trouble with YouTube this morning, some of us. Deja vu in Portuguese history, 1922, 100 years today. Wow, the first aerial crossing of the South Atlantic was made by the Portuguese naval aviators Gago Coutinho and Sacadura Cabral. Amazing. This is an amazing fact from 100 years ago. And you'll have seen them there. Let me just get this off the screen for a moment. You'll have seen them. And I think did you send me the path that they flew there? I thought that was a sea navigation that I was looking at. Probably not when I look at it closer up. Thanks to you, Prof. And I'm going to put it on the screen now. I think this may well be connected. This is their flight path, is it not? So stopping off at Gran Canaria. This is a nice little trip, actually. São Vicente, Porto Praia, and then on to Fernando de Noronha in South America there. Let me just take that off the screen as well so you can see the whole thing on the screen here. To Recife, Salvador de Bahia, Porto Seguro, Vitoria, and then to Rio de Janeiro. Look at that. Lisboa to Rio de Janeiro. I think that is the flight path of the gentleman we just mentioned, made 100 years ago. Thank you very much, Prof, for that. He may have more to add to that, of course. He often does. So, yes, you've enjoyed Joao's voice there. Hello, opera buddy. There we go. Sister comes from the Cistercian monks. Should have known, shouldn't I? Coutinho to continue then, and Cabral flew in stages from Lisboa to Rio de Janeiro using 3 different Fairy 3 biplanes. Look up in the sky, it's a fairy, everybody, and covered a distance of 8,383 kilometers, 5,209 miles between the 30th of March and the 17th of June. And there on the screen, you can see is the flight path. How exciting! 100 years ago, it wouldn't have been anything like. Oh, you could say, couldn't you? I mean, we've talked, haven't we, about the golden age of aviation? It's in the past, isn't it? But not that far in the past. On the Monday evening show, I featured Dave Brubeck and his album Impressions of Eurasia. And on the cover, you'll see him, I think, in the golden age of aviation, where he was flying around with Pan Am. Those were the days, were they not? Thank you very much for that, Prof. Really appreciate it. To continue then, Coutinho and Cabral's flight remains notable as a milestone in transatlantic aviation. Another great, well-kept global secret for Portugal and for its use of new technologies such as the artificial horizon. That sounds a bit flat Earth, doesn't it? Thank you very much, Prof, for that. Superb. 100 years ago, Coutinho and Cabral making aviation history. Yes, Pam. And the Alcobaca monastery was founded by that religious order. So that's what it's all about. His name is, as João Pesas. He got to the final of Portugal's Got Talent last year. Wow, celeb. We're standing right next to a celeb yesterday. I love that picture, the selfie that we were able to take. Now, the Anti-Gluttony Door, apparently. So we'll stay in Alcobaca for a moment, and I'll bring this onto the screen. There is a legend has it that there is a door in the monastery there through which the monks had to pass to go get their food. And they say that if you were too big to get through it, well, you just couldn't get through it. And that kept the monks thin, basically. Let me show you. Here is a picture. And who should we be thankful to here? This, of course, is... Hold on a minute. Where are we? This is Open Culture, the best free cultural and educational media on the web. Didn't know of such a thing until today. The Anti-Gluttony Door in Portugal's Alcobaca Monastery shamed plump monks to start fasting. Do we believe that's true? And apparently the monastery of Alcobaca's resident monks were eating plenty of other things too. Eventually, their reputation for excessive plumpness became problematic. So they made that doorway just to keep them in shape. And there was a mention of David Bowie here for some reason. Why would that be? Did David Bowie go to the Alcobaca Monastery? I think he did, and that's why it is mentioned here. But I can't find the reference to it. That's no good. But a lovely picture. It is amazing, the Alcobaca Monastery. One of the first places mentioned to me when I was thinking of coming to Portugal. Thank you, Laurie, back there in the UK in Devon, who said you've got to go to Alcobaca. It's fantastic. He came over here. Look at this. keep in mind that David Bowie, at his most slender, had a 26-inch waist. So we do have a reference here to him. Later in his travels, he is taken to meet a Spanish princess. This isn't David Bowie, is it? How did you leave the fat, waddling monks of Alcobaca? I hope you did not run races with them. Perhaps such tattle is what convinced the brass that something must be done. Oh, okay. So that letter to the head of the monastery there. And what would he be called? The chief friar or similar. Created the fat catcher door, 6'6" high, but only 12.5 inches wide. And I don't know why David Bowie is mentioned, but I will come back to you on that. Perhaps he was spotted in Alcobaca at some point on the Aladdin Zane or Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Alcobaca tour. Who knows? I don't know. I think there might be Bowie fans here who would know that sort of thing. So there you go. A couple of Alcobaca references that I wasn't expecting to make this morning on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Do you have any questions this morning for us? And before we go and have a look at the articles, that's a handsome young man standing behind you. I made reference to him, didn't I? The Joao Paces there. One more look for you then, Moaz. This handsome fella behind me with a great operatic voice that you heard a little bit earlier on. Lovely. Okay, let's move on. More comments then from you. And okay, I will no longer bash Americans. Thank you, Rebel Mama. I have a few good American friends here who left for the same reasons as me. I will ignore the others. Very good. If you can't, there you are, following Bambi's mother's reference there, or famous quote. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. So she's just going to ignore them. Very good. Very good. There's one of those planes, one of those ferries, or a replica, not sure, in the Musée de Marinha de Belém in Lisboa. Thank you very much, Antonio F., for that reference, going to those gentlemen who flew 100 years ago from Lisboa to Rio de Janeiro. I don't know about anyone else, but it's getting warmer up here in the north. It is getting warmer for sure. I'm getting a strong case of spring fever. The sap is rising up there in São João. I want to get to travel and stay home at the same time. I get weirder the older I get. We had no idea. Jay, we saw him singing on Monday under the archway. I mean, it must be really nice for him to just be able to burst into song like that and surprise people. I mean, stunning, stunning. Okay, I will have to attend the webinar tomorrow, crunch time. Yes, Suze, come along, please, to that. Google Voice can be blocked out. So what is Go? Oh, is it their, what's it called, that system? VoIP. Is it their voice over internet protocol? Probably is. Hey, Siri. Hey, Alexa. Hey, Google. Did that work for anyone at the moment? Gary Augles, I will get back to you. I've never had a mortgage here in Portugal, by the way, so not the best person to speak on that. Almost back on my feet. COVID test still positive after 9 days. Yikes. It sounds like you're feeling better, though. Well, kind of. Almost back on my feet. Andy's here. Bom dia todos. Love cycling here in Portugal. We've got a whole pile of comments to get through this morning. SEF stands for Serviços de Estrangeiros e Fronteiras. Fronteiras, the frontiers and foreigners, the immigrants service there for you, OLP. You did ask. Hi, hail, the Gumpers are all here, or are there still some on the other page? I wonder. Stephen, here in Portugal, Vodafone did it for me. Also, your phone has to have the capability. iPhone does, so you can switch back and forth between numbers without having to change out a physical card. That is a faff doing that, isn't it? You have to carry around that little pin with you. Don't want to be doing that. Really struggling with my driver license exchange. Typical overcomplicated proof of everything in a pool of mercury. Hey, says James there. But I think just applying his steadiness to the whole situation, and this too shall pass, right, James? Thank you for your help. Very nice community here. We like to think so, Forge. And thank you for joining us this morning. Serviço de Estrangeiros e Fronteiras. Thank you very much for that. We'll be putting up, thanks, Yoda. We'll be putting up the flag for the World Cup at the same time as the Christmas tree. That's right. Weird. Is castrato a thing? Yes, I wonder. I did wonder that. I didn't like to say it out loud as you've just done there, Prof. Healthy move, Portugal for Americans. It's a big thing. My cell, Wi-Fi, TV, and landline here is $65 a month. Oh, I need that for tomorrow night. In US, I've got to take a screenshot of that for tomorrow evening's presentation. Stand by, because I'm going to press print screen. Oh, okay, we got away with that. In US, my cell was $150 a month. Internet and landline, $75. I didn't have TV too much. Too many dollars there. Amazing. So savings being made here in Portugal. My objection to cyclists is the emissions. We drive past and the smell of sweat and tofu burger flatulence. Peter should have limits. Any ideas how you can have zero emission cyclists like the solar Tesla? Pete, don't start, mate, because your emissions are just emitted elsewhere with your blimmin' Tesla generation. Not when you charge it up on your own solar, to be fair. But then again, making the solar panels, I think there are a few emissions created by the creation of your solar panels. Belinda's here, everybody. Hello, Belinda. How are you? For energy, I only pay 40 a month compared to the 150 in Amsterdam. Another excellent comparison. I can only do one screen print at a time. Please send me those if you will, folks. You've got my WhatsApp, 913-590-303. I think this YouTube mix-up has brought us a few extra people to the yard. Amjad Chatila is here. Any info regarding student visas for Lebanese citizens? Gilda's here, everybody. You should speak to her. And 2, regarding D7 visa, is it possible to attain a rental contract without paying a full payment of 24 months? This is crazy now. A lot of landlords, not a lot, some landlords are asking for 12 months up front. 24, that's a big barrier, isn't it? Amjad, do get in touch. Let me just put that on the screen again. Do get in touch with Gilda via the link I'm about to post in the chat now. And these are the professionals who you should speak to. 30 likes and 61 watching. Hit the like button. Like as Maximus has spoken. In actual fact, João is a contratenor from Brazil. His husband, Luís, is also an opera singer from Alcobaca. Was that Luís I met in there as well yesterday then? Thank you for that background info, Pam. I am doing my research moving to Portugal. Belinda, can you explain how the plug adapters work and what kind of outlet converter to purchase to use my Vitamix in Portugal? Are you coming from the United States? Things with motors don't work so well with the changes in it's the frequencies, isn't it? The hertz. I'm guessing about those words there. But motors don't do as well as other devices. Has anyone else brought a Vitamix, or did you buy a new one when you got to Portugal? You can get a plug adapter, but that won't change the the 50-60 hertz thing, if that's what it's about, that causes the problem with motors. Motors do not cope well with the change of or halving. Yeah, pretty much halving the voltage. Something else is going on that affects motors, Belinda, with that. Can anyone else help us, please? I have to wait for the yearly definitive calculation, and I will have to pay up or get money back. I'm also charging EVI Portugal and I don't understand what you're talking about there, Matty. I'm sorry. Those monks were all about the cakes and liqueurs, liquors, as we all know. Yes, so they may have got the big bellies that stop them getting through that hole in the wall there. Can you recommend an overseas moving shipping company? Yes, GIR. Our buddies over there at GIR. I will find that for you as well. You really clearly haven't heard about expatsportugal.com, Belinda. Pop over there now and you'll see everything in the business directory. And why not become a premium or premium plus member while you're about it? And you can join as a free member. I think you need to get over there, Belinda, quite frankly, and you'll find out all the answers to all the questions you're asking this morning. I used ICS, International Cargo Services from Canada to Finland. There you go. Another option for you from Sue's there, Belinda. And thank you for letting us know you're in the USA. Those magnificent men in their flying machines. Best airplane movie ever made. Oh, come on. Airplane is the best airplane movie ever made. But yes, those magnificent men, pretty good too. Lisboa, folks, where can my daughter get a COVID test for flying? Can we please answer that this morning? Sharon, Tanner, Hearn. Hey, you can buy Vitamix here, but very expensive. They are cheaper alternatives. I was sad too, but it all works out. Thank you, Sharon, for that. Sharon Hearn. Sorry to have missed you over there in Tamar. Sharon, looking forward to meeting you one of these days. Elaine McGuirk is here as well, if I pronounce that correctly. McGuirk. Does anyone know definitely, whether a South African resident on a UK passport can enter Portugal at the moment for a holiday traveling? I don't see why not, but visit Portugal is what I would recommend. And can anyone, I mean, if you've got a UK passport, you'll be seen as a UK person, will you not? Your country, the country that you come from previously, though, I guess will be pivotal and influential in the decision about how you can enter and with what level of testing, etc., etc. Visit Portugal and speak to your airline as well, Elaine, on that. And has anyone done that who can speak in the first person testimony regarding Elaine's inquiry there? I found an American company that sells step-down transformers to go. Okay, so one that can cope with the motor change, Belinda. That's good. Solar Life Portugal, Pete, that meditation, watching the stalks works really well. Getting out early really makes things easier throughout the day. It does, doesn't it? Sometimes you can get up too early, though. I think I did that this morning. Amazon Prime, if you use it, 39 euros. What? 139 in the US. Cindy, can you join us tomorrow night? Really would be helpful to hear that sort of thing. That's a massive difference. That's incredible. And thank you for your beautiful yoga pose this morning. Go over to Vitality in Action at the 50 Plus Vitality group on Facebook to see Cindy's pose for the day. Garden yoga, everybody. Carl posted the site while I was typing. Expats Portugal. Okay, yeah, we've got it. We've got you there, Belinda. We've got you covered. I pay over 100 euros a month electric in my 60 square meter apartment versus $50 a month for a much larger place in Atlanta. Yes, electric, Portugal, not so great. And it's going up, folks. Traveling Turkish Airlines with a 3-hour transfer time in Istanbul. If not, how long should she have to be in the UK before she could enter Portugal? Very specific, that, Elaine. I don't know off the top of my head. And these things are changing by the day, aren't they? So check with Visit Portugal. Check with your carrier, your airline carrier there. Here in Portugal, I've never turned on the heat or the aircon. The 100 euros per month is really just to run the refrigerator and a few lights. Yikes! We need alternatives, folks. Instead of an adapter for the Vitamix, you need a transformer. But for something with a motor like that, you'll need a transformer that's powerful enough to handle the load. And who doesn't like to handle the load? On the mornings here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Belinda is a GMP product placement plant. She's not. She's not. Belinda, tell Prof, please, that you're a real person. I may have to rethink my attitude to cyclists, as when shortages begin, vegans will be the nearest thing to free-range, antibiotic-free and grass-fed, and they may even deliver themselves. Stop it, Pete. Told you before. Joao F, good morning, everyone. Just managed to join in. Joao F, good morning to you. Thank you for changing the subject. Think of it this way. You pay more for a Vitamix, but the healthcare is free. Yay! Nice way of reframing that. I was able to catch a live and had to choose a quick photo. Midlife Crisis World Tour. You see, not a product placement. Belinda just choosing a lovely picture of some houseplants there to join us this morning. Stop it, Prof. I am a premium member. What more benefits of upgrading to Premium Plus? A free mug? Yes, if you want one. On this occasion, I will see that you get a free mug if you upgrade to Premium Plus. The difference is you get more focused content, video content. Let's face it, moving to Portugal, it's pretty complicated, is it not? And on Premium Plus, and thank you for asking me this question, Suze. And on Premium Plus, you get things simplified even further. We break it down into 12 steps. We go through those steps step by step, and we have focused content that we think is useful to you on each of those 12 topic areas. And you have your own private part of the forum as well. So you are able to sift through and have a more condensed and clarified and simplified run at this thing of moving to Portugal. Okay, so thank you for that question, Susan. Yes, we will throw in a free mug if you sign up. And also, of course, with Premium Plus, we have a weekly Q&A on a Thursday evening, and that's at 9 p.m. on a Thursday evening. And that's where people in all states of moving to Portugal, the people just thinking about it, the people who are already here, some graduates from our premium membership also join in. And as well as finding out from subject experts, so, the likes of Gilda and Nunu on the Premium Plus calls on a Thursday night who join us, you talk to each other and find out from firsthand from people who've made the journey or are in the process of making the journey, what's going on for people. So it's a great check-in every Thursday night. Thank you for asking the question, Suze. And yes, get you a free mug. Okay, can't type. I can come to the webinar tomorrow if it helps. Yes, please, Matty. Of course, that would help. It'd be brilliant to have your comparisons as well. Since they changed our electricity meter to the new intelligent type, our usage is now 227 kilowatts per month. We were on 22.5 per month. Guess we were getting away with it. Wow. Okay. And yeah, smart meters. Not so smart necessarily for the owner of the house, smart for the company that supplies the electricity, right? Wow, Andy. Bon dia, Carl, and everyone. And the other thing to bear in mind with electricity coming into to homes is that you can vary the current coming in. And when I first moved into a house in Portugal, I used to put on the vacuum cleaner and it would blow the fuses. You can't have a light and a vacuum cleaner and God forbid, trying to put on a toaster and the kettle at the same time. And the owner of the house said, oh, you need to speak to EDP and uprate the incoming current so you can change the amount of current coming in. And that will, of course, influence your bills and usage. But it's quite useful to be able to put the kettle on while you're blow drying your hair. Do you not find? I do. Bon dia, Carl, and everyone from Michelle from Australia this morning. How you doing, Michelle? And Garvo is here. I think it was the fairy swordfish airplane that helped sink the Bismarck. A fun fact from Gary there. Morning, mate. Must have been 40. Electricity tax here is 13% on the first 100 kilowatts per month and then 23% thereafter. I suppose for somebody who has 200 kilowatts per month, 200 kilowatt hours per month, it works out to be 18%. In the UK, it's only 5%, but they have other ways of getting you, don't they, in the UK? Bit late today, says Michelle. I'm trying to get a new routine together with the 5:30 p.m. Aussie start. Ha ha! Well, it's great to have you here. Belinda, and I wouldn't have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you meddling kids. Yes, Prof. Let's. I don't think we're going to do. Should we do a couple of? Let's scan the news headlines this morning because I did promise to do that. I think it took the rudder out, which is different to taking the rubbish out, or garbage, as you Americans say. On this day in 1962, MC Hammer was born. You Can't Touch This was the sample taken from the Rick James tune Super Freak. Is there a joke to be made about MC Hammer being born today? And you can't touch this. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, Pete. He wasn't born MC Hammer, though, was he? Yes, Pete. I have been out for my normal romp through the woods. Yes, he saw your comment, Peter. For the new people, this is the best YouTube channel. Carl invites Portuguese professionals. The other channels have foreign expats giving information about Portugal. Okay. We have a bit of both, don't we? But yeah, we want to work with the people who are best at getting you here to Portugal. Pete, Gary, so have I. Isn't it beautiful? Ain't it beautiful? Love all the colours, but it also reminds me I have to plough and plant. Oh, the life of the farmer. Never see a farmer on a bicycle. More likely to be in a Tesla these days. Also, the Expats Portugal website, where you'll find listed businesses of everything you know. Moaz, thank you so much. We don't need product placement, Prof. Okay, let's have a quick look, shall we, at the news headlines before we leave today. That's not them. That's the big door at Alcobaca, not the little one. Let me bring the Portugal resident onto the screen for you. Been great hanging out with you this morning. Ask anything about Portugal Wednesday. Looking at the one news headline so far. Let's look at some more. We started with this one and the resignation of the SEF director and what implications that might have. Gilda assures us not too many because he wasn't doing much anyway already, she says. Not me. That was someone else saying that. So let's have a look at these headlines. And back to the front page of the Portugal Resident. That, of course, is the main story they're running with on the 29th of March yesterday. Renewables cut electricity bills by up to €300 in 2021. Did you feel that, anybody? The Azores keep shaking, apparently. So the tremors continuing in the Azores. They're mainly used to that. But I guess after a while, it does get a little bit worrying, does it not? State to inject 600 million more into TAP this year. I wonder what difference that will make to service levels at the front end for us consumers and flyers on the flights there. Portugal reacts to Zelensky's criticism. What's been happening here then? We're doing everything possible, says Marcelo. Portugal has reacted to criticism by Ukraine President Vladimir Zelensky by clearly misinterpreting it and then saying we are doing everything possible. Mr. Zelensky's criticism was not that Portugal was not supporting Ukraine with military equipment, protection of refugees, or the sending of humanitarian aid. It was that Portugal, along with a number of EU member states, has not shown itself to be in favour of fast-tracking Ukraine's request for EU membership. Oh, I see. But this has been lost in the stories, which concentrate on the Prime Minister and President saying, we're doing everything humanly possible to help Ukraine. Okay, so yes, so he's got the wrong end of the stick there. And that will run and run, I suspect. Let's go back to the front page, shall we, of the Portugal Resident before we go to the Portugal news and see what else is being said here. Mainly written by Natasha Don, it has to be said. Europe sending Portugal another 523 million. Not a huge amount of money, is it, when you're running a country? But every little helps, I guess. An interesting article that the golden visa makes no sense any longer. That's a good one, actually, in the Portugal resident, and Ukrainian refugee doctors to be accepted into the SNS. So that's the news headlines over there in the Portugal resident. Wednesday, 5 p.m., new government to be sworn in. Followed by swearing from the general public, I suspect. But that's this afternoon. New government will be sworn in officially over here in Portugal. And mass of Arctic air to arrive in Portugal for start of spring. Oh, and this is a hilarious story, not because it contains a reference to the Ukraine war, but I mean, it's bizarre. Popcorn price at Nosh cinemas to increase due to Ukraine war. And it's at these times where you think to yourself, a lot of things are being blamed on the war, aren't they? And this is where the one's credulity, a belief in such things, can be stretched. And let's dig deep into the popcorn price rise, everybody. From this message on Eco Online, this came from 3 days ago, perhaps unaware that the popcorn price at Nos Cinemas has always been a little surprising. Yes, hasn't it just? But you do get a whole bucket. Now, due to the increased cost of corn, sunflower oil, popcorn will be even more expensive, putting it out of the reach of many people, I suspect. Because as Natasha says, popcorn in cinemas is pretty expensive anyway. But I've never been to a cinema in Portugal in 4 years for one reason or another. And if I know the Portuguese people, don't they take their own food into the supermarket? And it's probably allowable. I don't know. That's my guess. Cinema director Nuno Aguiar assures that for the time being, there should be no changes in ticket prices. Can they blame that on the Ukraine war? Nos sold nearly 3.5 million tickets in 2021, a fall of more than 60% on numbers pre-pandemic. Wow. The business believes cinema goers will return and even beat pre-pandemic numbers in the medium term, says Eco. The news source. Popcorn prices rising. They could have made a better pun there, I think, at the Portugal resident on that one. So let's go to the Portugal news as we close today. Thank you for being here on the Ask Anything About Portugal edition. Tomorrow, Pam will be joining me from Alcobaca. We continue with our Alcobaca theme, and Pam from our Ask Our Expats team will be joining us tomorrow, which will be great. Let's go to the Portugal news now. Of course, in the evening, the cost of living comparisons on the webinar. I think we'll have some fun there as well, and the Premium Plus troubleshooting Q&A and get together and check in at 9 p.m. as well. So let's go back then to the Portugal news with the Portugal news, English-speaking, English news reporting in English, in the English language news of Portugal. I think finally got there in the end. Let's have a look then. What are they leading with? China up to 5th biggest investor in Portugal. Interesting. Free EU roaming for 10 more years. There you go. That's for you, Suze. UK flights to Portugal could be held up this summer. That's to do with a French air traffic control system. Oh, my goodness. Warning as, that might be Brexit related, right? Warning as North African dust returns again 1 day ago. And is Portugal ready for a 4-day week? Yes, I'll answer that. I'll take that one. And fuel prices rise again there in the small print. Ryanair, not the world's favorite airline. What? Who knew? And in other aviation news, EasyJet to reopen Faro base. I think that's they got some really young cabin crew, haven't they? If you look at that picture there, is that their apprentice scheme? I wonder at EasyJet. I think that's we favour EasyJet over Ryanair. Not surprised to hear that they're not entirely popular. Ryanair, not the world's favourite airline. I think they didn't need to carry out a survey to find that out. You only just have to ask the 10 first people you meet in the street. Spring food favourites. Do you know what? I think I'm going to finish there. As well, and just another, and finally, and the SEF news has just come in to the Portugal news as well. Well done, Natasha Don, on getting there first on that one. Coimbra, the Portuguese Florence. So just as Aveiro is the Venice of Portugal, Florence is represented here by Coimbra. Interesting comparisons. Spring food favorites, and always good to end with a bit of grub, isn't it? If you're looking for some food inspiration for the next few months, these are the spring ingredients chefs are most excited about and how they will be cooking them. And I'll leave the link to this article in the comments because I think it's a good one. Oh, the secret of the best caviar. Well, that makes a nice difference for my advertising from surgical supports and Viagra, doesn't it? They must be understanding me a little bit better, I think, over there on Google Ads. I love spring lamb, says Asma Khan. Santosh Shah says, I like to use artichokes and make a pickle out of it. Oh, I use a spice, 5-spice, what we call panch foron or poron. It's also a pickling spice, so temper that with white wine, orange peel, and some orange juice. Oh, that sounds very, very good. From Ayla. A feast of Nepali dishes from Teiraj, is that? The hills and the Himalayas, or Himalayas, depending on which way you like to say it. Amu, Indian home cooking to nourish your soul. That's Asma Khan's book, available now. Who likes a bit of spring lamb? Eggs as well, maybe because it's Easter, and I've always associated eggs when I moved to the UK with Easter. Eggs are so underrated for us in Bengal. Eggs were always a monsoon dish because the bazaars were closed. You couldn't get anything else, but eggs were still delivered to the house. I have omelettes, and for me, spring is always about eggs. Georgina Hayden says, I do love Jersey Royals. They're potatoes, aren't they? Patatas. I always get so excited when they're around because it's such a short time. They're like the Beaujolais Nouveau of the potato world. There's actually a recipe in the book which is really simple but delicious. That is from Nistissima. The secret to delicious vegan cooking. There you go, Pete, for you from the Mediterranean and beyond. Romy Gill says, people might laugh, but I love cabbage. Not here in Portugal, they don't. There are so many different ways of making cabbage. It's not just cooking, but also fermenting them, cooking a sabji, a vegetable curry. My favorite thing to do is making momosh, dumplings with leafy cabbage. Oh, that sounds great, momos. If I'm making a mince, a lamb mince or a beef or a pork, I'll use hard cabbage, make it like a roll, then eat it. So many ways of doing it. There you go, Romy Gill. Sophie Gordon, definitely herbs for spring. Wild garlic, not technically a herb, but a vegetable, is also very high up there. Most herbs start to flourish in spring, but wild garlic is incredible for so many things. I have a few go-to dishes with wild garlic. Firstly, a pesto, of course, and then using that pesto in some sort of risotto or risotto, if you're American, or a spelt mushroom and pesto dish. It's super as is, and keeping it raw when cooking is great. That's the whole vegetable, sustainable recipes for a healthier planet. And Phil Vickery, finally, the canny cook. I love purple sprouting broccoli in the springtime, lightly steamed with an anchovy, basil, and caper dressing. Purple sprouting is good. Very basic, isn't it? But when you talk about it like that with your anchovy, basil, and caper dressing on it, sounds even better, Phil Vickery. Thank you very much for that. I was looking at another Portugal news article earlier on, and it was to do with how the pandemic COVID restrictions are unlikely to be relaxed anytime soon. The comments were hilarious. were seething. They were hilarious in their level of seethingness. That was over in the Portugal news. I haven't got time to do it now, I'm afraid. Thank you so much for being here. I prefer couve bolos over the fibrous leaf couve cabbage, more typically used here. Thank you very much. So, yes, the ball cabbage. Is that the hispy spring cabbage? Maybe not. Maybe it's the more ball-shaped rather than the pointed one. We're talking about cabbage, by the way. Garrett's, I think. What? Okay, and I hate those comparisons, Portuguese Florence and Portuguese Venice. They sort of take away our city's own glamour. Well said, Joao F. Good final word from you. There ain't no Coupe de Ville hiding at the bottom of a Cracker Jack box. What? It's really got quite random now. We need 20 people. Now's your chance, folks, to hit the thumbs up button. Come on, you can do it. If he could go to your house and get you to do it by clicking your mouse with you, he would. Like us, Maximus, keeper of the likes, is here. Chris urging you to hit the like button. Chicago cheese and caramel popcorn mix. Weird, more like. And let's end on a high point with the food there. We did that. Thank you, everybody, for being here. See you tomorrow where Pam joins me tomorrow. Come and have a chat with me and Pam. Still need more likes. Come on. Still need more likes. Smash the like button like Pete Townsend from The Who smashing a guitar. No, don't do it quite that hard. Don't trash your mouse. I was in Coimbra yesterday, talking of the Florence of Portugal. And it is beautiful, isn't it? And we don't need those comparisons. We really don't. Okay, I'm going to leave you with that opera singing again because that was superb. João Pesas, my new bestie in the opera world and in the Alcobaca cafe world. There he is with me. We both like to wear a turtleneck, don't we? Look at that. Look at us two. And I will play the opera for you now for you to enjoy once more. Thanks for being here. Sorry about the mix-up with YouTube earlier on. See you in the morning with Pamela.
Bom dia, alegria!
Bom dia, alegria!
Hehe.